Remember this unique illusionary reflection. It can be explained as being the gates to the old wartime Hardwick airfield. If you go down the Barrondale Road, you pick up that same unique shape on Google Street View. This is June 2011, so there'll be much more foliage than there would have been in October. And that same unique reflection appears on the left of the bank on the airfield farm side of the road, where I've proven to you that those media images were taken and were falsified, and this moving video, and that the reflection is now explained as being the windscreen from a lorry parked in that dung heap. Now, if you remember my saying that one of the first photographs of the accident showed the Mustang, a bank and the gable end of a green clad building, that picture is no longer on the internet. Now, the only place where there's a green clad building is this Rotex built place here. It's just here, the gable end is here, and there is a bank in front of it. Remember, M is where the Air Accidents Investigation Branch say the plane crashed. G is where the media pictures of a 20-mile-an-hour sign showed the plane to have crashed. I've proven to you that all those images are falsified. And Q is where the air gates to the wartime Hardwick airfield are. Now, importantly, there's also a dung heap here to the left of those gates. The farmer dumps dung in the hedge line there. There's a dung heap just here where the farmer dumps dung at certain times of year, and there was the dung heap there. Now, on the 29th of April, I was on my way to Norwich to attend the inquest in the death of Mr. Marshall, the passenger. That's a story in itself. I stopped off at Hardwick on the way because I wanted to have a look around this area to see if I could find any evidence of the accident being here, perhaps a piece of wreckage. So I started looking around at the end of this Rotex building area, because remember that first picture I'd seen suggested that the crash scene was there, although that picture may have been falsified as well. This is a I took on that day, and this is what I found. Notice the dung heap there.
I can see in the background there was a bank. You can see behind the building. So I'm wondering if this is another possible spot. Just flying jacket on there, look. That's an old sheepskin leather flying jacket. Why would someone chuck something like that away?
Right, actually go into the ditch and recover it and move on. We've got limited time here.
Why would someone chuck a sheepskin flying jacket away?
Right, we'll stop there. Got very limited time. Got to turn the volume off. Now, initially I was thinking that was just a cheap copy of a jacket. That's the jacket there. We'll talk about it in a minute. It's the real McCoy. That jacket new would cost 700 to 800 quid. Now, just think, there's been a fatal air crash in the very close proximity of where I found that jacket. There's a little bit too much coincidence. And that jacket didn't go straight into the ditch. It's been on top of the field. I can explain why. I know that. My initial impressions were that someone had been fly tipping, and just dumped all that stuff in the ditch. But now, knowing the value of that jacket and that there's nothing wrong with it, the impression I have now is that there's been an accident. And it's as if someone's been clearing up after that accident, and someone said, well, what should we do with all this stuff? And someone's just said, just chuck it in the ditch. I believe all those objects are linked to the same to an accident. Right, when I brought this jacket back to the workshop, it's absolutely sodden wet. I dried it out, I thought it'd go all brittle and horrible. It's just beautifully supple. That gives you an idea of the quality. There's nothing wrong with the zip. There's nothing wrong with it. 700, 800 quid jacket. Right, it's been made by Cirrus, who are based in Dis. It's a size 97 centimetres 38 inches. It's actually got its own number, 1192. There's a machinist and cutter's number on there. Machinist 5, cutter 16. Now, you can get an idea of how long it's been in the ditch by the staining. Tannins coming through there, some mould here and stuff. The rust on the buckles. Now, I found that 29th of April, 17 months since the accident. The deterioration of this jacket could easily equate to it having gone into the ditch at the time of the accident. If you ever stumbled upon a sheep that's died in the wild, they will lay there for years and years because their skin is designed to resist weather, and that's why you use sheepskin opposite for flying jackets. Now, distinguishing features are on this left arm and arm near the shoulder, there's this repair here, a very crude repair. Now, if I were the owner of this and I could have afforded to have bought it, and I lived locally, I would have just taken it back to Cirrus and had it repaired professionally. The number there, they've got a number for it. If they're professional, they would keep a small swatch of leather from this jacket, so they can match it exactly. Other distinguishing features are there's paint on it there, etc. There's even a bit of sticky tape on it there. Now, the impression I have is that the person who owned this worked outside a bit of paint on it, perhaps climbing under a barbed wire fence, taught on a barbed wire fence. And as I said, I work on a farm, I'm very familiar with dung. It's got dung trodden all over it. Everywhere there's dung. So that indicates that before it went into the ditch, it was on top of the field and it was being trodden around and picked up all this dung. Now, I've just shown you that there are 3 dung heaps. There's one there, permanent. The farmer sometimes dumps dung next to where I found the jacket, and he dumps dung near Q, the old Hardwick airfield gates. Now, if you think about it, the jacket is nearest to that dung heap there, not that one there, and I've proven to you that those images are all falsified, and it's not near to the dung heap there. Very concerning, that jacket. Finally, North American Haynes manual for the Mustang. This has been written by Maurice Hammond and Jared Cotter. If you want a reference book, Maurice Hammond has rebuilt 2 Mustangs. He's not only rebuilt the airframes, he's rebuilt the engine. He is an authority on the Mustang and its structure and its engine. Finally, what I'll say to you with this is just don't have any preconceptions or prejudice, just study the evidence. What does the evidence say? I've proven to you that all this evidence is falsified, and you have to ask yourself the question why and who had the motive to falsify everything.